Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin from Florals.com and I am back with Heather's Crafty Christmas in July combined with my Summer of Stories series. So this month I have a lot going on, but in July I'm focusing on using my Christmas products thanks to Heather's beautiful hop she set up. I'll have everyone linked down below who's also doing Christmas projects this month. I'm sharing one Christmas project a week and then one non-Christmas page that's using Christmas product also on my channel once a week. And today I'm working on an 8x8 album. I decided to do a second 2016 Christmas album because I had tons of photos left over from this day or from this yearly Christmas party and all the fun things that go along with it. So I decided to make this a gift album, and a lot of you have been saying how you love to use chipboard albums as gifts. It's a great way to get people into scrapbooking without having to commit, a lot of space, a lot of, bulk, because they are pretty heavy, and so you can just make a little chipboard mini album for people. It's a great gift idea. This is an 8x8 album, approximately. It's from Recollections, so you can get these at Michael's, or I think they changed sizes. They do have a couple different styles now, but I don't think they have the scallop circles anymore. But I did pre-back the pages. I always do that because this particular shape takes me so long to cut out. But essentially I trace the shape on the back of a pattern paper that I want to use. Make sure to also trace the holes so you can punch those before you put them onto the card or the chipboard. And then you just hand trim them out, and then you can use an emery board to file down the edges to make it look a little cleaner or make it extra distressed if that's the look you're going for. I did a little bit of planning off camera for these pages only because I wanted to make sure that I was using up a lot of my older supplies. So I knew I wanted to use this 4x6 card on the left hand side, and it's actually from a birthday, We Are Memory Keepers birthday card set for pocket page layout. So weird to put that on a Christmas layout, but it works because it's got the red in it. And so I'm also creating a cluster with a bunch of random supplies. I have that gold reindeer head, which is from Recollections. The chipboard vintage style pieces are from K & Company. That tree 3D embellishment sticker is from Echo Park. And then the gold stars are also from Recollections, as well as that red doily, which is actually a Valentine's Day product. So don't be afraid to go outside your normal holidays or normal themes to try to make things work for your layouts. Here I'm adding some washi strips on the bottom, and if you see me making extra hand movements, it is because this was actually a real-time process video for my patrons over on Patreon. Every week this summer they're getting a real-time process video. Some are exclusive to them and some are just the ones that go up on my channel, but they get the real-time versions with a lot more detail in there, hence why my hands move around so very much. So I got a big drawing block on the left-hand side that can talk about the gifts my brother on the right-hand side is opening, all that sort of fun stuff. But now I want to focus on the right-hand side and figure out what I'm going to do with that. When I often use horizontal or vertical striped papers, this one happens to be a vertical setup that I put it in, I think the design needs to go that way, follow the pattern of the paper. In this case, I actually don't end up doing that. I kind of keep it, you'll see, but I keep it pretty horizontal, so I'm going against the grain there since those are vertical stripes. Now I could have just, put them on vertically instead, but those are some things you kind of don't think about while you're backing the chipboard pieces until it's too late. I start pulling out the scraps as you saw from that DCWV paper pad. Those are the same brand of papers that I used for the background, so I know the greens will match and the reds will coordinate appropriately. Here I'm going to start by layering these both onto the green horizontal or diagonal stripe rather, just for another pop of green right next to the photo. As you can tell, he's wearing red, so if I put red right next to the photo, it wouldn't pop nearly as much as this green and white stripe does. So it'll be, you'll sort of want 3 layers here. The green and white fades in once you put it on top of the green background that's also the same exact color. So here I find a polka dot paper with red and green. Not too much of either, it's more of like a neutral. It's providing a little bit of color, but not too much where it's overpowering or, definitively one color over the other. And I thought I was going to use this plaid paper, but it does bring in this really bright, like light green that I didn't want to overtake everything. And then with the diagonal stripes coming on both sides because of the plaid, it was a little bit too much. But as you can tell also, the green layers underneath the photos are blending in with the background, so it needs a little boost. So I go back into a Pink Fresh Studio paper pad that I was looking at earlier and pull out this piece of bright red present paper. Now, as you guys can tell from the title, my Summer of Stories inspired piece for this episode is presents. He's opening presents. It's perfect for Christmas. And if you guys haven't headed over to my blog yet, I have the free printable with a bunch of story ideas focusing on letter P that you can use in your albums. So I split that little scrap in half and put it down. Now I will say the presents are in the wrong orientation. The presents are sideways. But since that was a scrap, I thought I could just put it in there. I know they won't look at those details as finely as I do when I'm making the pages, but I know they'll love the page just the same. Even if it didn't have any of this pretty paper, they'd still appreciate it. So just keep that in mind. Don't be too hard on yourself when you're making presents or gifts for people, because of course they want something that you love and love to make them, but it's really the thought that counts and the love that went into it. So if you're not happy with something, it'll be okay. You don't have to tear it up. Just keep moving forward. You might get a new idea to change things around as you go on anyway. So here I'm going to start gluing on my embellishments. Now I do speed this up for you quite a bit in a little bit, just so you guys don't have to watch me add adhesive to everything. When it comes to chipboard albums, I do like to use liquid adhesive, especially since the pieces are not going into a page protector. Here I'll also be using some foam adhesive since I'm layering so many things up. There's going to be bulk and bumps, so I want to make sure that where there's a bump, it's supported and it's not just, squished down to the bottom. And so I'm using those foam squares to help with that. And again on this chipboard piece, little Santa. And I really, really enjoy using so much texture and dimension in these albums because in the traditional page protector, sometimes you simply can't, especially with pocket pages. Oh my God, there's never enough room for me to do the dimension I wish I could in pocket pages. I find them often. I've ripped a couple pocket pages before because of how much I've tried to add. Just like buttons and brads, they're bulky items, which is why they're becoming less and less popular. I find them very popular in my personal opinion, but nonetheless, I still use them. There I was just talking about the difference in the red colors. I was struggling really hard to find the correct red in my stash to go with everything I've already used on this layout. Let me know if you guys have this issue too, where everything just doesn't seem to match. Christmas red is hard to find, and a lot of companies go for an alternative based on the green that they choose. I find a lot of companies start with a green if they're doing a traditional color palette, or if they're doing an untraditional color palette for Christmas, they'll start with the untraditional color. But if they're doing traditional color, they usually start by picking out the green. Maybe there's two. Usually you want a variant, so you have a dark one and a light one. But let me tell you, some of these companies are so vastly different in green, I could never make them work, I think. It just doesn't seem plausible. Here I pulled out another journaling spot. It says wonderful time of the year, most wonderful time of the year. And that is from that sticker sheet I showed you with all those big labels on it. I've had those for a while now and I've not been using them, so now I've finally got one on paper and I'm really excited about that. I'm going to keep looking through a bunch of alphabets. I do finally pull out my small alphabet sets here and come across these ones. So there are two different ones. I picked the top version because I think it's the correct red. Compared to the other two choices I had, it's the closest one. And luckily I had never used these before, so I had all the letters I needed. I will say that these are just some sticko letters, and I believe these were given to me as a gift. I don't normally buy flat stickers anymore unless they're a very thin, like taller font, because I really like long titles, and usually I'm cramped for space. So these ones that are, I would consider them a large, like they're large and broad, if that makes sense. They're not tall, they're not big like thickers are, but I tend to go for slender letters or block letters over these style, or like uppercase isn't my favorite, but a lot of companies are doing that now too. But these ones definitely aren't my favorite, which is why they've never been used. They're in like the exile pile of stickers, but I do try to reach for these now and again. So that will just go right there on that journaling block. Since I already have a journaling block on the other side, this works out great. And I do go back later off camera and add adhesive to the bottom of those just so we make sure they stay in place forever. Here I'm pulling out my really old Target puffy sticker stars. If you guys do not check out your local Target during the holidays, the dollar spot has stickers. They have them year-round for different occasions. I believe the school ones are starting to come out now. Sometimes they're cute, sometimes they're not, but I found some really good ones in there before. Here are the close-ups of the pages. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to head over to my blog to get your free download of the printables for the P story list ideas. And don't forget to check out everyone linked down below for the Crafty Christmas in July. We're all uploading on different days, but you can find Christmas stuff on our channel all month long. Thank you guys so much for watching, and again, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!